Matt Lenihan Boxing Social in association with Empire Fight Star Our Kings. We're here at Eddie Hearn. Bit of a raucous way, wasn't it? We may as well start with this.
What an atmosphere. I mean, you got I don't know. We had to shut the doors. What do you have? 800, 700, whatever was in here. Wait till tomorrow night. 8,000 sold out. It's a brilliant night of boxing. 6 50-50 fights as far as I'm concerned on the card, and especially the main event, final eliminator, unlocking the door for the winner of Boots Stanionis, and massive fights at £147.
Who do you think sort of held the nerve better? I know it's been a bit of a flip-flop kind of week because of the Eubank Ben stuff, but Paddy's come onto the stage today, obviously a heavily favoured Crocker crowd, but I thought they both handled themselves quite well.
I thought they both looked good. I thought Paddy was enjoying it, and it'll be a different level tomorrow, but it'll still be very volatile. And for Lewis as well, don't forget, you're kind of walking out, he was like, oh, just banging his chest, do you know what I mean? Like, the atmosphere tomorrow will be unbelievable. And I've missed Belfast, it's such a great fight city, and it's not very often you get those world level fights, and we got one tomorrow, and it happens to be all Irish. And yeah, can't wait.
Look, let's go on to yesterday, another eventful press conference. A lot of things said, so let's talk about what's truth from your end. Ben's made a lot of comments, so has Chris Eubank Jr. Chris made comments about, I think maybe even the first one, that Conor Ben owes you money, and there was talk about what was put in the contract, whether it be can't say this, can't say that, but is that a contract you're privy to, or is that a Saudi contract?
It has nothing to do with me, the contract. I mean, as Chris said, he did a deal with His Excellency. I have no say as to what's in Chris's contract. I don't write the contract, I don't put the clauses in, so I don't, he said you put a clause in about you can't say X or stuff about promoters. No, I didn't. That's in every Saudi contract. That's their clause, nothing to do with Matchroom. And that's in there probably because what he said about Frank Warren, and now he's being sued. So, nothing to do with me. I didn't, when Chris Eubank called me a scumbag, I didn't sue him. I just like, the guy's a tit, but he's very good at what he does, and he's got his mojo back. Do you know what I mean? Like, I've been watching Eubank the last couple of years, thinking, you're next gen, you're cringe, you're done. Like, you got no swag. Just seen a little bit of swag come back from him, and he's good for the game. He's not your pitch to me. Did he rattle you? I'm like, I didn't go home fuming, but it was annoying me. Yeah, and that's what he was trying to do. So he done a good job. I wanted to give him a slap, if I'm honest, but I know that's not possible. So. But that's what he, and then in the end you just have to wait and let him talk and pick holes. I mean, the stuff that was coming out of his mouth was absolute bollocks.
Which bits?
Well, the part about us inserting clauses into a contract we're not even writing. I had no say into the contract that's done between him, confidentially, and the Saudis. Nothing to do. His contract's completely different to Conor Ben's contract. Money, everything, as he told. I mean, he was one of the great negotiators, Chris Eubank. I don't know if you heard some absolute pearlers what he came out with. What he did was, this is really smart, he asked for a big number, knowing that they would come back with a smaller number and that they might meet in the middle. You cheeky so-and-so. And what else did he say? Oh yeah, the £50,000 between all the undercard fighters. I mean, I thought 50,000 each would have been nicer, because there was about 16 fighters, so it's about $3,000 each, but still, it's nice. But he also didn't understand, they all go and get fights, whether it's Wasserman or Matchroom. You saw a list of when they fought, but they've all been posting saying, where do I send my invoice? So that's nice for them.
They all seem to say the same message. Was there a little group message going, go on, stick it on him, was it?
Yeah. What else was said? Conor Ben owes me money. No, not true. Conor Ben spent every bean he has.
7 figures, wasn't it?
Yeah, to fight this case. Every bean he had to defend his name. And if he didn't win, I'll be honest with you, he was banging trouble. But he won. And now he's getting paid a huge amount of money for one of the biggest fights in Britain. So that's that one. Ben Shalom said he's making more money than Conor Ben. That was interesting.
Have you warmed to Ben a bit more the past couple of days? Because I see you two, like you and Frank used to be.
The guy, people, he plays the victim brilliantly well. Like, I get, you're bullying Ben Shalom. Don't worry about that, mate. The geezer, he sent me a picture last night of me and him, and I said, your dream pic, and he goes, can you post it on your Instagram and collab with me? And I'm like, he's just really awkward, and I don't think he knows he's awkward, but I actually find it quite funny. I think a lot of people in boxing don't, but I actually can't believe some of the things he says. And we all bend the truth. If I've sold 8,000, I might tell you I've sold 9 or 10. Do you know what I mean? If we've sold out in an hour. I might tell you we've sold out in 45 minutes. Do you know what I mean? It's like, but I don't just come out and go, what, I don't know if you saw the RFL thing. He's like, Colm goes, Ben just said he's making more money than Conor Ben. I'm like, did you say that? He goes, oh, I was only joking. I'm like, right. And then he said, Robert Smith called me and asked if I want to issue a complaint against you. And I went, wow. I said, let's just get this in the open. So Robert Smith called you. And well, no, he didn't say that. And I'm like, I said, well, this is like the Dalton Smith purse bid that you pulled out of, the Caroline Dubois purse bid that you pulled out of. He's a massive porky pie teller, but on a weird level, not like a promoter exaggerating, random lies. See the one the other week? AJ signed to fight Bacoli. I'm like, what? We've not even had a conversation about it. Oh no, it was tongue in cheek.
But do you think he's responding because, like you said, you'll say stuff tongue in cheek, so he's just going, you know what, I'm gonna play the game now.
Matt, no, that's different. It's like me coming out tonight saying, we have sent Adam Azim a contract to fight Dalton Smith, and we've signed it and sent it to him. We haven't done it. I can't say that. That's the kind of thing he would say. Do you know what I mean? I'm like, Ben, what are you doing? And he's like, come on. He's almost like a parody promoter. I do find him amusing at times.
Are you going to collab anyway on Instagram?
No. I did take one. I've done the old rabbit ears behind his head. But listen, we're working. Honestly, whatever people think of me, I will always work together and do good business. I won't argue with Ben and start like fucking falling out with him during the promotion and not working together as a team. You got Boxer and you got Matchroom, you got His Excellency, you got Seller, we're working together to make this event as successful as possible, and we'll do more stuff together, I'm sure. I'm not, socially, I don't know if this has got a big future, but who knows?
I've got to ask you, I think one of the key things that came out of that, and you were getting over talked at the same time, I was publishing it as soon as you said it. Yeah. Not sure who's asked you about it since, but Conor Ben actually has a British Boxing Border Control licence. He's applied.
Yeah. So this was one of the things. I mean, I get the whole interrupting. It's very funny, but it's fucking rude, to be honest with you. But it is what it is. It's the game, right? But I want to tell you guys stuff that's important. And one of the things that came out of Eubank punching or slap, whatever he done to Conor Ben, was my conversations with Robert Smith, which was, look, what are you doing about your licence? And obviously it's a British Boxing Border Control event. Robert Smith said to me, I feel that any British fighter fighting in a British Boxing Border Control event in Britain should be licensed by the British Boxing Border Control. And I said, Robert, I say that in every interview. But obviously the history, but Conor feels, and he particularly feels with recent cases where people are being treated completely different to how Conor was treated, that he got singled out and made an example of. And that's the problem, Robert, that I've got to convince. He said, look, I think you should do it. I said, look, I'm going to speak to Conor Ben. And off the back of that conversation, I had a conversation with Conor Ben, and I said, listen, I really feel like you should fight under a British Boxing Border Control licence. And he, what? They did this. I said, mate, it's over. Yeah, you got all these people that want to pick holes in what you've done, and they're never going to believe you. This is like you're still fighting the system, but I'll never forgive. I said, but it's time to forgive and move on. And eventually, he turned around and he said, no, you're right. And 2 days ago, 1 day ago, we officially got the ball rolling to reapply for our British Boxing Border Control licence, and we will fight under one for this fight and hopefully beyond.
So when do you find out that A, it's been accepted, and B, surely you must be ultra confident that they'll sanction it, because if not, if not, they'd have to apply under another and they'd have to sanction it.
It's not a process that is going to be denied, if I'm honest. It's not. He has no, pending suspensions. And Robert, I obviously had that conversation with Robert, and I said, look, presumably it's a straightforward process. Yeah, he has to go through the same protocol as everybody else, but it won't be denied. But so therefore, the only thing that's stopping you is just your ego, and that it's over. Do you know what I mean? You need to set yourself free, and I feel like this will help do that.
There's two more from me. So I saw you on TalkSport speaking to Simon, and you referenced the whole egg incident, and it's seen that Chris may be getting punished. I think you said something like, if Conor Ben would have done that, you'd be calling for it banned 5. What do you mean by them comments, and why do you think they'd say different for Chris to Conor?
I didn't speak to Simon. I spoke to someone else on TalkSport.
Sorry,
but the reality is how can you sit there and say what he did was fine? Like, no one with an ounce of common sense or any impartial mind can say that slapping a fighter with force at a press conference, especially with an object, is fine. And I couldn't believe what I heard from Simon, where he goes, well, it was only an egg. I'm like, mate, give your head a wobble. He's whacked him around the face. You can't be doing that. But could you imagine if Conor Ben went up there, right, pulled out an egg or a satsuma or whatever it was, and just went bang round Eubank's face? What do you think Simon Jordan would be saying? And if you think any different, you ain't got a brain, mate. Just have a think about what Simon Jordan would be saying in that situation. And that's the hypocrisy of the situation. They're just so gutted that this fight is happening. Gutted. Sick as a parrot. And it's like, this fight's only big because of their dads. It's like, one, who gives a fuck? And two, it's not actually. It's big because the younger generation also know these two. They're two fighters that are ranked in the top 10 of every governing body, or most governing bodies, right? They are world-class fighters. Yes, their parents happen to be, or the fathers happen to be, two of the greatest fighters the country's ever produced, that created one of the best rivalries we've ever seen. The narrative's unbelievable. That's why it's virtually sold out on the first day. That's why it's going to do over 1 million buys. That's why it's the biggest fight in British boxing history. Stop fighting it. Stop being so miserable and fucking enjoy it.
Last one. While you were doing the weigh-in, there was an announcement from Turkey, the ring, Teofimo Lopez, Arnold Barboza. What is Matchroom's involvement moving forward with the show in New York and then moving on to Canelo? Will there be any involvement?
No, the show with Canelo is in Riyadh, so Queensbury will be leading that. In New York, we are working on that with Golden Boy as well. Awesome. So we'll be out there for the press conference next week. Brilliant card. I mean, you've got 3 of the top 140, 147, whatever you want to call them, guys. Like, you talk about appealing to that younger generation. Haney, Lopez, Ryan Garcia. It's an amazing event, and there's a huge amount of work to do on that event. They're shutting down Times Square for this. It's never been done before, probably never be done again. And looking forward to getting out there.
Will you be getting some fighters on that card then? If you're
just 3 fights. Just 3 fights.
Just 3 for that.
There's 3 fights on that card. Logistically, we're involved with Ring and His Excellency and everybody, and so no fighters for us on that card.
Eddie, appreciate your time. Oh wait, no, one more. Josh Padley, quickly.
Yes, yeah.
What a story.
Yeah,
sorry this morning.
And the reaction's been huge, and it was kind of like, we finished the fight, and I already had a comeback fight in his contract. It was part of the deal. And I just thought to myself, like, why would I do the comeback fight? Obviously spend that money, which is justified because that's the deal. Get him back on TV, give him another push. He's already got a nice profile after the Shakur Stevenson fight. Everybody loves him. Everybody loves the story. He's a really good fighter. We've actually got something here. You know, sometimes you're trying to build something. This was built in one night. I mean, obviously he beat Chamberlain at Wembley, so he had a little bit of, substance. But then fighting Shakur on a couple of days' notice and putting up the kind of fight that he did, and the toughness, and the fact that he was an electrician and stuff like that. I just thought, one, how good is his story? But I've got to be honest, like, even from a selfish point of view, it makes me feel good that you can help someone completely change their life. Like, you imagine, Padley's now made a nice few quid, hopefully get himself a house, pay off a mortgage. That's like always the principal, aim of any career, but particularly boxing where it's so tough. What if we could go and win a British title or a Commonwealth title or a European title? What if that house that he buys turns into a much bigger house? What if he has kids, he can give them the education that he dreams of? What if, do you know what I mean? It's like, it's a feel-good story. And when he puts up things like, I cannot believe, like 15 years of hard work, and I can't believe I've signed with Matchroom. My life has changed. That makes me feel fucking like in this shit business. That's like, I love it. And he's going to be here. I think he's here. When's Josh coming? Padley? Tomorrow, yeah? He'll be here tomorrow. He's going to work on the broadcast. Let's make him a star. And let's make him a load of money and give him great... And he can fight, by the way. Listen, if he couldn't fight, but I believe he has a future in the sport. And now he has the profile and the story to go with it.
Absolutely. It's a great story. Eddie, I appreciate your time.